Hello, this is Terrence Thomas, Holistic Lifestyle Coach, founder of Physical Excellence Coaching. In this video, I want to take a couple of minutes to discuss a very important topic when it comes to weight loss, body transformation, and even in the idea of physique athletes and bodybuilding and things like that. And this is the idea of how artificial sweeteners can actually make you fat and make you lose muscle. So essentially, how artificial sweeteners can make you fat and flabby. So the common belief is that sugar is the enemy and we need to avoid it at all costs, and sugar makes you fat, it makes you flabby, and we should avoid it, and the next best thing to real sugar is fake sugar, which essentially allows us to taste something sweet without having to deal with the calories or the spike in insulin or the storage, the extra storage of body fat, because sugar essentially activates insulin. But here is the reality of it. There has been research that's proven this actually, and I've been saying this for years, and the people who are trained like me have been saying this for years. Even if it tastes sweet, you're still going to get an insulin response. Let me explain. They have shown that you have insulin receptors on your tongue. On your tongue. So the minute something sweet, whether it has nutrition or not, hits your tongue, it sends a signal to the brain, which then sends the signal to the pancreas to produce insulin. So when you're taking in artificial sweeteners, you are still getting the insulin spike, but minus the nutrition. Now this is even worse than eating the real sugar, and let me explain why. At least with eating real sugar, you're going to get an insulin spike with a corresponding influx of nutrients. But when you're taking in fake sugars with no nutrition, the body goes into a full-blown stress response. As soon as your body produces insulin with no nutrition, the body freaks out and starts to produce adrenaline. And what adrenaline does is it increases the utilization of glucose and free fatty acids. But then the body produces cortisol, which breaks protein down into amino acids and then convert it into sugar. So essentially what's happening is, when you take in these fake sweeteners and the body produces insulin, but there's no proteins, carbohydrates, or fats to utilize the insulin, or for the insulin to piggyback on, the body has to then take nutrients from its own personal resources to deal with these hormones. So what will happen is your body will start pulling glycogen and glucose out of your muscles. It'll start pulling proteins from your muscles to try to make do with this insulin. So imagine all the products that have artificial sweeteners, whether it's your protein supplements, whether you're chewing, these gums with the artificial sweeteners in it, or if you're adding it to your food. And most of the times, it's a combination of all three. Every time you're doing that, you're essentially putting your metabolism in this stressed catabolic state. And this is a very it's like a big elephant in the room that no one's talking about. This is a very strong contributor to long-term metabolic damage for various reasons. One, the artificial sweeteners are toxins, and anytime you put a toxin in your body, it overstresses the liver, it overstresses the kidneys, it overstresses essentially all the organs. And the other nasty thing that happens is with these artificial sweeteners is that they don't go away. They hang out in organs. I mean, think about it. Most people's liver is already compromised because of all the toxins in the environment, poor lifestyle, poor nutrition, whatever. So your ability to get rid of toxins is already compromised, but then you take in a additional toxin that your body can't fully get rid of. So even though you think you may be taking in a small amount in your diet soda or two a day, it's accumulating in your system. I've had personal testing done on myself, because when I used to bodybuild, I took some of these protein shakes with artificial sweeteners, and 5 years after I had stopped taking all of those supplements, it was still, there were residual metabolites still in my system that I had to clean out. So this is important stuff. But getting back to the whole fat and flabby point, here's how it works. You take in the fake the fake sugar, the insulin receptors on your tongue stimulate the pancreas to produce insulin. There's insulin, but there's no protein, carbohydrates, or fats to deal with it. The body produces adrenaline, then it produces cortisol, then your body goes into trying to actually have something for the insulin to work with. And if you're doing this chronically, your cortisol levels are going to stay high, which means that your body's going to essentially continuously break down your hard-earned lean muscle mass as a result of the high cortisol. So while you're trying to eat right and exercise, you're producing additional cortisol. Not to mention, if you're dieting and you're exercising, that's more cortisol. So this is how you can end up damaging your metabolism over the long term. Chronically high cortisol levels, it suppresses thyroid, it makes you flabby, it keeps you in a catabolic state. Bottom line is, if you're going to take in these artificial sweeteners, at least make sure they're natural. I'm losing my mind here. Stevia, xylitol, but then you still have to worry about the timing, and that's a whole nother video. So you have to understand that sugar is not bad if it's taken at the right times, post-workout, or even on a fasting situation. So that's what I got to tell you. Watch your fake sugars. Under no circumstances do I recommend that you take in any of these Splendas or Sweet and Lows or Equal. You're asking for trouble. I promise you. Okay? Keep it clean. If you want more information, contact me at physicalexcellence.org, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.